Hi, and welcome to CreateStudio 4. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of the software itself, talk about some of its main features, and give you some helpful quick tips on how to get started. All right, so I want to point out really quickly that we do have a support page as well as a tutorials page. And then we also have a YouTube channel and a Facebook page, which has a very active community. So if you want to learn more, make sure you check out those pages as well. All right, so on the homepage for CreateStudio 4, you'll see in the bottom left corner, I can see what type of license I have. So right now I'm using a business license. And then I can also see how many credits are available to me. And if I need to buy more credits, all I need to do is click on buy more and then proceed with purchasing more credits from there. All right, so you'll see that we have multiple ways of opening up different projects within CreateStudio 4. All right, so let's go ahead and walk through the Lightning Builder. So I'm gonna open up the Lightning Builder and here's where I can choose my ratio, right? So what type of resolution do I want? I'm gonna go ahead and choose a vertical 9:16 for Reels. And then I'm gonna go ahead and choose what style of video, right? So we have many different styles to choose from. But let's go ahead and choose this Jack style to start with. And then here at the top is where you can start to see which scenes you add in quickly, right? So right now I have the subcategory set to all, but let's go ahead and narrow things down to the opener. And so let's go ahead and add this first scene here. Now I want to add a page for content. So I'm going to go ahead and add this scene and you just work your way down. Here's the problem and solution. And then we can go ahead and add some benefits here, right? So let's add this scene. So that's how fast and easy it was for me to build these scenes using the Lightning Builder. Now I can go to editor and here's where if you want to choose music, you can then incorporate that music. So let's go ahead and choose corporate here. It's going to download it. And then once you've chosen, it's going to go ahead and create this Lightning Builded project for you, right? So here you can see it already built it out. I've got all my scenes in here. I could take my cursor, I could scrub through and it built this out. And from here, I could go in here and edit my scenes and tweak them, adjust the text, add different pictures, change the colors to meet the SKU for my project, right? Which is really awesome. All right, so now let's go back to the homepage here and let's talk about starting with templates. All right, so I'm gonna open up the templates page and here is where on the left-hand side, you can kind of see here too, where right now I'm viewing everything. I can go to character explainers, promotional, business, stuff for YouTube, logo stings, scroll stoppers. There's so many different templates that you can choose from. And you can also sort by resolution, right? Here we can go to everything widescreen, by Reels, 4:3, right? So you have a lot of different ways to where you can sort through a lot of these things. So what I'm gonna do is let's go ahead and select one of these templates and we can double click in here, click on start editing, and it's gonna open up this template for us to where we can begin editing that template and make it in our own, which is really cool. So again, I would just click on this scene here and here's where I have access to under settings to all of the assets for this scene. So then I can go in there, change pictures, change text, make the color fit the scheme of my project, and then export that out and get it submitted to my clients, right? So it's a really powerful way to quickly create new projects, right? Let's come back to the homepage here. And here's where we have some of our really awesome new AI builders, right? So let's start with our AI shorts. So I'm inside of AI shorts. And again, we can choose landscape, 9:16, square, or portrait. And of course you choose the language and you have access to many different languages to choose from here. So I'll go ahead and select English and then let's go ahead and choose a vertical and let's create an amazing video. All right, so the first thing I do is I need to choose our video theme. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and make this an emotional style video. And then we need to add a prompt. So you want to tell us something specific, details that you would like in your video, right? So for example, you could say, create an interesting story about the first time a man visited the moon, right? So I've got a prompt already created. And I'm gonna say, create a story about a diver exploring a long lost shipwreck, finds a journal with entries dated back 100 years into the future, right? So go ahead and click next. And here's where I can choose the voiceover for my video, right? So you'll see I have the options to choose between male and females, and then I can preview these files by clicking the preview button, right?
The biggest room in the world is
right. And I can just go down the next
in the
one.
middle of every difficulty.
And you can also see your favorites as well, right? So if I click on favorites, you'll see that I can see the ones that I've hearted for female and the ones that I've hearted for male. And if I decheck show favorites, it takes me back to the master list. And then I can go through and maybe I want to preview this guy.
God has given you one face.
Right, so I can then heart that guy and he will then be now in my favorites under males, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and choose female and I'm gonna choose this Aria voice and have her selected there and then choose next. All right, here's where you can choose a backing track. So you can choose no music if you want. But again, if you want, let's go ahead and choose like this, this corporate style feel. And I will go to step 4 now. And here's where you can choose the style for videos. You want it to be cinematic, 50s look, neo-punk, Disney, Pixar, hyper-realism, photo. So you can choose the different styles and that will create it for your video, right? So let's go with hyper-realism. And let's go click next. And here's where for the captions, right? So do you want these? We have some really cool, awesome captions embedded into here that you can choose from. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the, let's go with the giraffe style here. And then we can go to, if we want to have a 3D avatar, you can do that. You can choose between these avatars that we have. From this option, I'm going to go and choose none. And then I'm going to go and hit next for finalize. So here is where it's generating the script based off of the prompt that I created in step 1 for the video script. And once it's done, you'll see here is my scenes. And I do have the option to edit some of the text if I don't like the way it's looking. But let's say, for example, I liked everything. It'll tell me it's going to take 60 credits will be used, and then I can generate this project, and then it will generate that project and create a really awesome story for me. All right, so once it's done, it then creates this session for you inside of CreateStudio 4. And now I can play this back and we can see what this sounds like and looks like.
In the depths of the ocean, a diver named Alex discovered a long-lost shipwreck, cloaked in mystery and time. As Alex swam through the eerie silence,
and so you can see how quick and powerful that is to create some content on the fly with just the type of a few keystrokes and the choice of a few different template options, right? So again, you can get something created for your business, for a project that you have really quickly and fast. And then you can crank that out and then move on to the next project, right? So again, very powerful. And then again, you can go in here, adjust the speech if you need to. You can change images out if you want. But again, it is a really awesome feature built into CreateStudio 4. All right, so now let's go ahead and go back to our page here. And let's go ahead and show you how to do an AI explainer video, right? So very similar to the last one, just choose what ratio we want, right? So let's go ahead and go with landscape on this one. And again, choose the language that works best for you and then click ready. And here is where you can type the prompt that you want for your explainer video. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here and I'm going to go ahead and paste in the prompt that I've selected here. And so I'm going to have it create a video on how black holes work, right? As an explainer. All right, so now you do have the option to choose, do you want this, is this for promotional purposes or educational? So let's go ahead and choose educational. And then again, you would choose the language that you're utilizing and then your channel name, right? So who is this that you're promoting? Is this you? So I'm gonna say that I have a channel and let's just call it Will Talks, right? Now I can say, let's click on next. And here's where you can choose the character for your explainer, right? So you can come down here and scroll from, if you sort through all, you can see all of the characters that are available to you to use. You can sort from males, from females. All right, so let's go ahead and choose this astronaut character since we're talking about black holes here. And then let's go ahead and choose a music track if you want to, right? You can then again choose a background track for your explainer video. So I'm gonna go and choose minimal. And then I'm gonna go ahead and click on next. And here's where you can choose your voiceover, right? So I can come again through here. I can preview.
A single rose can be my garden.
The world is round, and the love all, trust a few.
All right, so let's go ahead and choose Charlie, right? Let's just go ahead and select him and let's go to next. And here's where it shows you what the script looks like, right? So it starts off at the top. And again, you have the option to edit this. And you know, I can change this, right? So we can call this, let's call this Will Talks. All right. So now I can say, welcome to Will Talks, your guide to the universe, right? So I can show you discover how black holes work. And then it goes through and you can edit these if you don't like how they sound, or maybe it's not completely accurate to what you want to say. You can come in here, tweak these lines, and then it'll go with the 60 credits. And then I'll say generate project. And then it will generate that project and its contents and open up inside of CreateStudio 4 for me. All right, so now that it's done, you can see here is our AI generated explainer video, right? So let's go ahead and play this back and see what this looks like.
Welcome to Will Talks, your guide to the universe. Discover how black holes work. Black holes are fascinating.
All right, again, another powerful feature built right into CreateStudio 4. So you can quickly generate AI explainer videos for your project needs or for maybe things that you're working on for your clients, right? All right, so now I'm back on the homepage and let's go ahead and talk about our VSL creator, right? So VSL creator is our video sales letter, right? So a video sales letter is essentially a video that pitches products or services to potential customers, right? So this is a really cool and powerful way that you can generate your videos, right? So I've already pre-filled out these questions, so you don't have to watch me answer these questions in real time. But again, who's your target audience? You know, what is the biggest pain point or problem you want to solve? And you answer these questions, right, which 1 through 3, click next, and it takes you to questions 4 through 7 to kind of narrow it down as to what it is you're trying to pitch, right? And so from here, you click next, And again, it's going to generate this script based off of the answered questions that I provided, right? So once it's done, you'll see here is my script, right? And then again, you do have the option to add more lines if you want to, or you can come in here and tweak some of these to better fit whatever it is you're trying to work through, right? So once you approve it and you like it, you can then click on next again. And then here's where you can choose your voice for this VSL, right? So I'm going to go here and you can choose either males or females, right? You can have your favorites that you've chosen from different ones that you've had before. So again, let's say I had these guys were my favorites, and then these two here were also my favorites. I can come in here and see them based off of a male and female options, right? So again, I'll come in here, let's go to female, and let's go ahead and choose preview this guy
I have
right
never
here.
been hurt by anything.
Okay, let's choose Hayden and choose select, right? And I'm going to save that because I like her voice for a future project. I'm going to go ahead and click next. And from here is where you choose your music. So let's go ahead and choose corporate, since this is more of a pitch, right? And let's choose next. And let's choose what type of preset style I want to choose from. And let's go with this motion gradients. It's a little slower. I like that. And then I'm going to generate project. All right. So from here, it's going to generate the project. And then it will open up inside of CreateStudio 4 for me. So once it's done generating, it will then show you what it created, right? So let's go ahead and play this back, and you can scrub through if you want and kind of see what's going on. But let's play it and see how it sounds and what it looks like.
Why do freelance graphic designers struggle to find consistent clients? For many, it's not just about getting a few gigs here and there. It's the stress of unpredictable income, the anxiety of chasing clients.
All right, so you can just get a good quick feel of what that was, right? So just by entering a few questions from the prompts, it generates an entire video for you just based off of the questions you answered, some of the problems you were having for this client, right? And then it generated this video for you. And again, you can come in here, tweak it some more. If you didn't like the music it chose, you could swap the music out in that sense. You can then take out some of the lines if you want to, adjust some of the graphics. So there's lots of different ways that you can come in here and generate videos within CreateStudio 4. So now let's talk about what the interface looks like inside of a blank session and how you can utilize the tools to help benefit your projects. All right, so I've got a blank session open here, and I've just got the CreateStudio logo inserted into my canvas here. And up at the top left, you'll see there's a plus icon. If I select this, this allows me to add text, the pen tool, create rectangles, circles, triangles, squares, and arcs that in any way that I need to kind of fit my project needs. So this is where I can do that from here. All right, so once I close that out, in the top middle, we've got access to our navigation tools. So here is my selector tool, which I'm on now, which allows me to select an object in my canvas, move it around. I could resize it and do the things I need to with my selector tool. All right, now if I choose the hand tool, it allows me to move around my canvas. See that everything inside of it moves together, not just one element. So again, that is the hand tool. And of course, we have our zoom in, canvas zoom, which allows us to zoom in manually, or we can do our preset movements here, or we can fit or center it out right there. All right. And then we do have the option here to quickly change our aspect ratios on the fly. So we can go 16 by 9, 9 by 16, 1 by 1, or 4 by 5. All right. So on the right hand side, we have our interface layout adjustments. So from here, I can change it to be minimal. So it makes everything minimal, subcompact on the top left there. Or I can just go left bar and it moves everything to the left bar here. And then I can go left and right panels, which leaves everything here on the left, but then also opens up the right panel as well. All right, so depending on your preference, those are your options. This allows you to save. And then here, the publish button, when I open it up, it allows me to publish the project that I'm working on. So I can save it as a video, depending on what it is, image, or different file formats, and all of the options below. That's where you can publish. On the CreateStudio logo, if you hover over that, you can create a new project. You can do a save as, open up tutorials, go to the support page, or exit back to the homepage in CreateStudio. All right, so that is navigating in the top section there. Now we do have a feature, and this is our AI CreateStudio toolkit. All right, so from here, you can generate an image based off of an AI prompt, right? If I open that up, it allows you to generate that image back. We can also remove text from an image. So from here, I can remove the text, which is really cool. And then you also have a feature where you can do background removal. That's a really awesome feature that to have on the fly inside of CreateStudio 4. And then you can upscale an image, right? So upscale an image that was maybe low res, you can take that guy and make it bigger with a higher resolution. And you also have object removal, so you can draw and select the item you want and then erase versus what you want, something that's in your image. You can take that as well. And then we have the voiceover where you can create your voiceover as well using the speech generation tools with AI. inside of CreateStudio 4. All right, so this is a really cool kit. These do require credits. So again, if you need to purchase more credits, go do so inside of the homepage there, right, that we talked about earlier. All right, so let's go ahead and close that out. So that is the AI toolkit, which is a really cool feature built right into CreateStudio 4. All right, so now let's talk about going back up to the top here under media. All right, so our media section is where I can import in files that I have on my computer. I can bring them into my session here and then utilize them in my canvas and work with them in the ways that I want to inside of CreateStudio. All right, so if I navigate to the timeline, I can use my cursor to scrub across the tracks that I have there, right? In the bottom left corner here, you've got the skip to the beginning or skip to the end of your session. The play button is the play button, and this lets you skip forward or backwards frame by frame. All right, here is where it lets you know your time in your video. Right now I'm at 1 second, 28 frames, and then it just kind of gives you that time estimate of where your cursor is at on the timeline. Here's where you can add an animation, right? So if I select this logo here and I want to add animation, open this up. This allows you to add keyframes, so I can keyframe position, scale, opacity, rotation, and everything in that list I can adjust and turn into a keyframe. And then I can create some easing for them, right? So how do these animations come in? Linear, smooth, fast. You can do it both the same for in and out, or you can do individual, one for the in and then a different one for the out, right? So again, this is your animation section. And then of course we can duplicate this track too so quickly by selecting that. So again, with the CreateStudio logo selected, I can hit duplicate and then it creates a duplicate of that track. All right. And then from here we can cut. So if I select my track here, and let's say I want to make a cut wherever my cursor is, I can select cut, and there it made a cut at the middle there. So again, that is creating a cut. Let's go ahead and drag that back out. And here's where you can add scenes on the fly, right? So say I'm working and I need to create some scenes. I want to add something really fast. I can go ahead and click scenes. And if I already have some saved scenes, I could use them from here and I can just drag them into my timeline for use, right? And then go ahead and tweak those and make them a part of my template, right? Now, if I don't have a scene in there, what I can do is click on Get Scenes. It'll open up to the main library. And again, it lets me choose the aspect ratio for those scenes. And then I can then scroll through and open one of these guys up. And then I could download one of them. And then once it's finished downloading, I could add that to my scene. And once I close it out, you'll see that here is the scene that was added to my project scenes. And now I can drag that into my timeline and continue working. And I'm customizing this to make it my own, right? All right, so now let's talk about our media folder. All right, so when I have the media folder selected here on this side, this is where I can import in and drag in any clips and assets I want to use for my project, right? They will be located here, and then I can drag those files into my canvas and then work with them as I need to, right? Now, the global folder is, say, for example, you have things that you work with in all your sessions all the time, right? Whether that be a company logo, a lower third, this is where global comes into play, right? So for example, let's say that I have this CreateStudio logo. I could right click it, hit on copy to global. And now in my global section, here is my CreateStudio logo. And then that will be available to me. No matter what session I open, I can always come to my global folder and I could drag this into my session and use those assets as I need to, right? So again, very powerful. Now, if I go back to the media section tab, you'll see that I'm on my media. And here's where I have access to the stock free libraries like Vecteezy, Pexels, Pixabay, Jiffy, Cover, and some SVG libraries, right? Which is really cool. And again, you can search inside of these libraries using the search window right here on the right-hand side of that. All right, so now let's navigate to our scene section here. And here's where you can quickly build out a template for yourself to use for a project that you're working on, right? So here's where I can say, okay, you know what? I want to go with this mobile app. All right, so now let's navigate to our scenes here. And here's where we can show you. All right, so now let's navigate to our scenes. And so these are where we can build out templates very fast, right? So let's go ahead and view scenes for this Black Friday promo. And then if there's something in here you want to use, you click on the download icon. And once it finishes downloading, you can drag that to your canvas. And then you can then use those said templates to then create and make them your own, right? So I can come in here, select it, come into my settings, and I can adjust and change and replace the video, change the text, change the shape colors, all that good stuff, change the images and make them something that fits whatever project needs I may have, right? Using these awesome scenes here, which is really cool. Now, the other great thing is what you can do is maybe you've got something, you build it out and you're like, you know what? I want to be able to use this for a scene later, for later use in a different project. You can right click this and you can say save to my scenes. And then here under your my scene section, here is that template, right? Which is really cool. So maybe you mocked it up, you've got it made. You can then just drag this back into your next session and then keep using it from there, right? So again, scenes are where you can build out and drag in already pre-made scenes for your use. And then when you like something, maybe you've adjusted something, then you can save it to your My Scenes and have access to it at any time for a different project, which is really awesome. All right. So again, now let's move down to Studio. And Studio is where you can choose all the different assets inside of CreateStudio, right? So whether that be characters, shapes, you have access to shapes in here, effects, lower thirds, stuff for YouTube, interface, scroll stoppers, all these good things are in here that you can then download and drag into your canvas to use for your future projects, right? All right, so now let's talk about our 3D creator. All right, so what I can do is I can search for different types of characters inside of CreateStudio. So I can either search for Pixar style, I could search for minimal, I can look at animojis, right? So just depending on what you're looking for, those styles are available to you. So let's go with Pixar here. And then of course you could choose between male or female as well, but let's leave it on all. So let's say, for example, I want to go ahead and use this guy right here. So I will drag him into my canvas here. And so once he's in there, I have now can access and adjust him, change his parameters from here. So I'll make sure I select him here, and in the top right corner under settings, under customize, I can then change his top out, right? I can give him a different hoodie type. I can give him some shorts maybe. And then you could just go through and change the different shoe types that he's got to kind of fit the needs that he has. You can give him a hat. Let's give him a party hat there. You could change his hair, right? So you can get really specific and style him out in cool different ways, really funky, right? Maybe you don't want him to have that. Maybe you want him to have this little mustache. Change his eyebrows. You can give him accessories, right? So there's lots of cool things to do with this character 3D creator here, which is really awesome, right? And of course, if you had a logo, you could add your logos on here. We could add the CreateStudio logo, right? It's right underneath that backpack strap there. And again, you can come in here and change the colors too. So from the skin, you can go and change the shoe colors, glasses, bracelets, backpacks, depending on what accessories you have, you can adjust those all right here on the fly. And then of course we have our light section here, which allows us to give a little bit more intensity on the face if we want, right? We can do that, or we can do an ambient intensity, which is a little too much there actually. But if you wanted to give them a little pop, you could do that, right? So again, really cool features inside of the 3D creator. And again, here is where if I play him back, he's just idling, but if I click idle, I can come over here and add additional animations. So I click add new action, and then maybe I can get him searching for something here. So then I come over here and he starts looking around, right? So again, really cool ways to animate your characters inside of CreateStudio. All right, so inside our effects and components section, you have access to different types of tools to use to kind of enhance your projects, right? So under the effects section, you've got things such as glitch, doodle, clip speed, right? There's a lot of cool things in here, wave, twirl. So say, for example, I want to add in this glitch effect, right? So I could drag this onto my, my canvas here. And then in the right-hand side under effects, you'll see here is where the glitch effect is located. And if I click on that, you can then adjust the amount that it's there, right? So right now the shift strength is 100%, same with there. So if I just play this back as is, you'll see that it's pretty intense, right? But if you come over here, click on glitch, you can then change the frequency, the scatter strength, you could take it down, change the frequency to really low to maybe like 6. So then when I play it back, it's just a little less intense, right? So again, you have control with these effects from here, and that is using the effects, and there's many others in there as well that you can tap into. Your component section is going to have things like creating a progress bar, doing a spotlight, adding cameras, so you can add a camera to your animations to give it more realistic life, right? Say, for example, I want to drag in this text box, so I could pull it in above my video clip here. Here's where you can quickly and easily add a text prompt that you want to show up in your video. You can change the text there, and then from there go with change the font and kind of tweak it to make it your own, right? Which is really cool. Next to that, we have the effects. Here's where I can add in some particles down, right? So let's just say, for example, I drag in this particles down effect. And then here in my timeline, you'll see the particles layer that shows up, right? So I can move this around. And then if I press play, you'll see that it's showing the particles play. And then with that selected, you can change the color, adjust the amount of particles we have, right? Which takes them away, how fast they're coming down, the size of them, right? We can make them a little smaller, a little larger, and then go from there, right? So it's pretty cool and fun way to add in some cool effects into your videos, right? And this is all inside of our effects and components section. All right, so I'm inside of my call to action section now, and I have some really fun templates that I can use to really enhance my videos, right? So I like this YouTube template, so I'm gonna go ahead and drag it into my canvas here. And if I push play, you'll see that it creates a really awesome call to action that I can then customize and go in and make it my own, right? So I could put in my channel name. I can then do subscribe, right? So it's a really cool, fast, and easy way to kind of add a call to action to your videos, right? And the cool thing too is we also have hook titles. So if I click on the hook titles tab, you'll see if I click on this, it then allows me to generate a hook title, and then I can change the title of it, right? So I could, it could say generate cool videos in minutes, but I can add a tag in there, and then I can change the style, right, to fit whatever I want. You can change the font and the color of that scheme, and then have it go straight into the rest of that call to action. So again, really powerful stuff inside of the call to actions. If we work our way down to music, here's where in the music section, you can choose the different styles of music. I could browse through the different clips that we have, right? So you can play back, download, and then drag those clips into your timeline, right? And so say, for example, we could start that off and it will play with our call to action, right? So that's music. And then again, we have effects. So different sound effects that you want to use. You have access to different sound effects, and you can search up those sound effects inside of this library here. You can, based off of new, popular, the name, you can kind of specify what you want to search to make it faster for you. We also have our speech, right? Our speech generation. So using our AI, you can then type in the prompt that you want and then choose the voice, right? Browse through the different
round.
the different voices that we have, choose the stability and the clarity, and then generate that speech. And then you can then import that into your session as well, right? You can record your own voice as well, which is really cool too. So I could bring this in, start recording my own voice, and then I can then drag that file in and use it for my said project, right? So it's really powerful stuff. So again, that's the music section. We've got effects, speech generation using AI, and then you can also record into CreateStudio using your own voice or someone else's voice for that matter too, right? Which is really cool. All right, so I've got a couple scenes laid out, and if you put your mouse in between each scene there, between the layers there, you'll see that there is a green transition icon that shows up. If I click that, you'll see that it opens up the transition window, and from here, I can then just click that transition, and now if I play that back, you'll see that it then goes into that next scene using that transition, right? So very fast and efficient way. Again, I have this scene over here, and I can then click here, like a one-click touch thing. I can open up my transition window. I can then hover over each one of these and choose which style transition I want. And then I can then click it and then press play. And then there it goes, right? So again, really fast and powerful ways to add transitions into your sessions. Again, you can always come over here to your transitions and do the reveal transitions from this way. But the fastest way is inside your timeline. Once you got those scenes in there, hover between, and you can always adjust the timing of these too, right? If you want this transition to happen sooner, pull it back and it auto adjusts for you to the time that you have for that space in between, right? So again, really powerful stuff inside of CreateStudio using transitions, right? All right, so that was an overview of CreateStudio 4. Hopefully you got some great tips out of this. Can't wait to see what y'all create, and I'll catch you on the next tutorial.